Alrighty, welcome to the video. This is for One Fast Motors GL1500 performance carb install. So basically that's the setup. Let's go into this real quick. So the first thing when you get your manifold kit, you're gonna have this guy. This is a heater block, and we're going to install it. If you live in a cold climate, you'll probably have to mount this just like that on your manifold. I'm not sure what way, whatever way you want. You could go this way or that way. Depends where you want the wires to come out. This heats it up to help out for atomization when it's cold. It's best to hook it to a switch. It comes with some wire connectors, so you can hook it to a switch up on the, maybe by the dash somewhere, by your handlebar, or if you want to go to your handlebars, you can go by the little glove pockets on the bike, and then you can switch it on and then switch it off an hour later after the bike is warmed up, because you get better performance when it's off, just because of colder, dense fuel. But anyway, how you do it, clean your surface with brake cleaner right around the area that you're going to do it, right around here. Comes with a little bit of, this is heat sink glue, kind of plaster, I guess. It's a it just hard, it glues up, it sticks, so it's like a glue. So you open it up, you squeeze it out, clean this area with brake clean also, squeeze it out around. You can go all around the holes and this and that, I guess everywhere. You don't have to go to the very edge because it's going to squeeze out. And then just place it and push it down firmly for about a minute to make sure all the area pockets are filled. Put it on there so it's a little bit of thickness so you can squeeze it out. And then use these little tape, metal tape that goes with the kit. Put them right here and just tape them down along the side of the manifold just to temporarily hold it till the glue dries. There's two of them, put them on both sides. And that'll be it for that one. And let it dry up. You could probably install it while it's drying. It's not going to hurt anything, and then you can just wire it later. So anyway, that's it with that. Over here, the first thing you want to do is get the carburetor manifold and put the unit together. So put the carburetor gasket just like this. Put all three bolts, two on this side, one over here. Put it all together. Leave this one off right now. Bolt it together, put it off to the side. Your manifolds, or clean everything out. All the vacuum hoses and all that stuff that's originally there. You want to clean it all out, make it all clean. So there's nothing really down there anymore. You have plenty of room to work because you're not going to be needing any of that. So then you're going to put on this bracket. This is what you have on the very top between the two manifolds. This is a stock, I think it's a valve for the air valve or something. You're going to actually replace it with this guy across the top. See if I can do this with two hands. One hand. You're just going to put it right there. You're not going to use this. Just replace it with this. Use some Loctite on the threads. Bolt it down, snug it, you're done. So that's done. Then you're going to put some grease around the lips of the manifolds. And you probably want to do this before you mount the carb on. There's some vacuum hoses down in here. One's right there. A little nipples coming out of the manifold there. There's two there, and there's only one on the other side. You want to put those together. Put a T in there. Put those together and run it to your computer. Vacuum Advance, right here. This is your computer on the right side of the bike. And then you're done there. Gas line kind of way. Your original gas line is going to probably come up here. The filter, you're going to move it to go underneath this little thing for your seat, this little bracket, and it goes, and it's going to be right there. So that's where it's really going to fit. This is 5/16 hose, so you'll have to get that at an auto parts store. And you're going to set this regulator. There's an in and out, obviously in and out, self-explanatory. You're going to set it to 1.5 or 2. I think this is set 1.5. Yeah, it goes to 5, but 2 is about the max for this carb. And then you can set that aside. Then we have a throttle spring you're going to put on. Right at the same time, you're going to hook this on now before you have the manifold and carburetor together. You're going to hook this onto one of the clamps on the manifold screws. It just goes underneath the screw, and it goes straight up on this side where the throttle linkage is. So you can hook it on the screw, and you're going to pull it up, and you're going to stick it on the carburetor barrel end. There's a hole for the barrel of the carburetor cable. You're going to just tuck it in there, and it's going to pull up and down like this. So pretty self-explanatory. Now you're going to get your carburetor, and you're going to stick it on as a unit. Pop it on, tighten the screws on the manifolds snugly, and you're done with that. Now your carburetor is set there. The next step, your air vent hose comes with a kit, goes right here, goes out, goes down along the tank here, and then on this side, let me go over here. It goes right underneath there, right behind that motor mount bracket there, that bracket there. There's a little foam thing, breather. It goes right under the tank there, that lip. If you can see the lip of the tank there, that weld. So it's just tuck the hose, goes down around there. And also this hose has to be ran. You have to get this, this is this PVC hose at the hardware store. I believe it's 3/8. I don't know how many feet. It depends where you're going to run it. But you can get about 3 feet, and then you can just cut it where you want to cut it. But it runs down through here, goes down through your clutch, where your clutch is, and then you can zip tie it down there to the frame. It has a, it'll have an air breather foam in the kit, and that's it right there. Because the original one goes to your air box. You're not going to have that anymore. So that will go up, loop around, and go down by the clutch. And then you're pretty much done on this side with all that. Yeah, by the way, there's a little nipple on that breather tank, plastic tank from Honda, that you'll push this hose onto. Just heat up the hose a little bit with a heat gun, and it'll be soft, and you'll be able to just push it on. So after that, the next step is to mount your throttle. come with your throttle cable, your little bracket here, mount it right here. There's a piece on the frame, a little rubber grommet on there. You just push the bolt through the bottom, bring it up, put this on top, and then it has 2 holes for your cables. The bottom one is your throttle cable. The top one is a cruise control cable, which I'm experimenting with. Probably have it available in a few months. Right now, you just put the throttle cable through. Give yourself about, I don't know, 1/8 inch slack there. Tighten it down and then put it in the barrel of the carburetor. Down there where the spring is hooked to, around the hole. And you're done pretty much there. The cable routing, I don't know, it can go wherever. I found the best way to do it is to go underneath the coolant tank hose, the radiator coolant hose, and go around. And you see that? It's looped. It's looped down and around by the coils. Those coils are right there, and it comes up around. So it goes like this, and then it comes up to here. That's probably your best routing. So then you got that buttoned up. Kit comes with a little clamp. I mean, not a clamp, sorry, it's a bracket. So the bracket, you're gonna put the bolt right here. If I can get this hose out of the way. There's original little bracket welded on the frame here from Honda. Kit comes with a bolt and washer and all that. You thread it in just a little bit. You put the washer. See, there's a washer on it. Put the washer on, leave it about that far away. And then let me get this cable out of the way. Okay. So leave it just about that far out. And you're going to take this bracket. You're going to put the bracket on the carburetor. Mount like that. So that's what it's going to look like. Then you're going to thread this in. You're going to thread this in. You're going to put the other washer on it, and then you put your lock nut on the other side, and then snug it all together. Snug this down first, and then snug your nylock down. And then put your bolt on your last bolt on the carburetor and snug it down. So now the carburetor is not going to vibrate around. So after you do that, we'll go to the next step. The choke. This choke cable, this is the wire for one of the solenoids you're not going to use from the old carburetor setup. You can just tap into the hot wire side. Only when the key is on, you want power to the choke. So if you don't use this wire, use another wire. Use a wire that only when the key's on, the choke is on. So you just put a little connector will come in the kit and just splice it in, and then you just connect it right there to the spade, and you're done there. Cruise control, I can go over that really quick. Just for future stuff, there's a hole here in the frame, right there, on both sides. You'll have to get an 8mm tap. And I think, I don't think you have to drill it out. The hole's big enough for the tap to be started and worked in. You want as many threads as you can get. So I would just leave the hole. It's a little smaller than recommended. I think it's 17/64, so you have to drill it out, but try to use the same hole. Tap it out to 8mm. And then the kit comes with a little setup here, all thread. You thread that in. Go down about a ½ inch or so. Basically, you need about 2 1/8 inch from here to here. So let's see what it is. Let's see, it's 2 1/8. 1, 2. Yeah, pretty close. That ruler's cut off at 1. So that's 1, 2 1/8. So you have adjustments here anyway. It's an all thread, so you can adjust it. So just basically at least a 1/2 inch into the frame. Loctite the stud in there and Loctite the nut, and then tighten that nut down on the frame. And then these you can loosen back up. The cruise control pod will now be mounted right on top of there like that. And then you'll have another vacuum line that you'll connect to it, because you only have 2 vacuum lines in the end. So you can adjust the pod up and down, of course, on the rod if you need to. But the gas line is going to go, kind of hard doing this with one hand, but the gas line is going to go around like that, from down there, up, around the cruise control stud, and then the cruise control goes on there, and so that's the setup right there. And then your vacuum line would come in over here. This is the vacuum line here from the manifolds. And so that's pretty much it. And then you would hook your cruise control on the top and to the throttle linkage there. So that's it for that. Basically, before you put the air cleaner on, start the motor up, get the gas line all plumbed, get it all fired up, and see if it needs any adjustments. This is your mixer screw down here. There's one here and there's one on the other side. And then these are your pilot screws. There's one here and one on the other side. You can just unscrew them real easy and change them. So it might not need any adjustment. It just, I don't know where you live, so elevation will tell everything. So basically that's it. One thing to mention, there's a rubber, like a rubber flap. It's like a protector that goes down on the manifolds down here before you mount the carburetor on. If you want to reuse that, just to protect, it helps with any of the extra heat coming up to the carburetor. Most bikes are all rotted out, but if you want to buy another one and put it in there so it doesn't radiate heat up here, it's probably best. Or if you don't have one in your bike, you can probably order it. It's a pretty big, it's like 12 inches by 14 inches. It's a piece of rubber that goes down below the manifolds. It covers all that down there, so any of the radiator heat doesn't come up. Do that obviously before you put the manifold on, and then you can button everything up from the top. So basically, then the kit comes with instructions, the jetting kit. It tells you the float height, tells you a bunch of stuff about the running and what to do if there's any problems. It goes to a lot of different stuff. So that goes with it. You can read that. Air filter is pretty simple. Once you got it running and you think it's decent and all that, you can go ahead and throw the air cleaner on. It just pops right over the top. The gasket will be on there already. And use these little Allen screws, 5mm. Put some Loctite on them, because you don't want these screws to come out because it's pretty close to the intake. So blue Loctite is all right. Don't use red, because if you have to remove it, it's going to be a kind of a pain. So blue is sufficient. And then tighten those down snugly. And then, of course, your air cleaner will go on after that. And this goes on the inside. There's a lip right there. This mesh goes right down on the inside, not on the outside. So you have to push it around on the inside, make sure it's all around. And then use your holder that just slides over like that on both sides, and it clamps down and holds it down. So There are a few more adjustments from the choke. On this side, there's a screw for fast idle. You can see how it runs and how cold your climate is, and you might have to adjust that up or down. The book's, it's right by the choke mechanism here. The instructions will probably tell how to get to that. It's right in there. So I think that's basically it for the adjustments. Fast idle choke, mixture screws, idle jets. That covers pretty much the basic installation of the, it's not too difficult. So that should do it. Make sure you have your carburetor stud bolts all snugged up when you have it all together and you're going to start it. And that'll be it. If you have any questions, you can email me and we can go from there. Thanks for watching.